Hi everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. So, welcome everyone. This is your weekly moon cycle reading. So exciting to go through this reading with you this week. First and foremost, how are you? How are things going? What's new? How is it for you? Okay, anyway, now that we got that out the way, here are the two decks that I'm using. I always like to share the love. This is let me see. This is the first deck. This is the second deck. Do what you need to do when you're doing it if you would like to get that one. Okay. So let's start by just channeling. Thank you, universe, for this opportunity to read on behalf of you. Please bring messages of wealth, health, abundance for this upcoming week and give us all the clarity that we need in any way possible, bringing us uplifting messages, giving us a sense of understanding, clarity, and anything that resonates with the moon, as well as any individual feelings that we have this week. I say all of that in the name of I am. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Okay. A lot of stuff is just flying out at me right now. And so let's go ahead and get started. So this is for this upcoming moon cycle reading or moon cycle in general for this week. Sorry. You might have a little gangsta lean. I'm trying to do it so you can see it. Okay. So I'm going to just burn a little bit of cinnamon right here just to clear out everything going on here. Balance, open, boom, boom, pow. There we go. And I'm going to pull from these cards as well too. Okay, thank you, universe. Thank you, universe. Thank you, universe. Okay, bringing the highest vibrational energy into this space for clarity, understanding, and peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with the first feelings that are coming up right now in the space. So right now we have this Four of Pentacles, and I remember that the Four of Pentacles came last week. And so what the Four of Pentacles really was talking about is it was talking about this balance, okay? It was talking about life balance. It was saying that you're not going to find your stride. You're not going to get in your stride. You're not going to get in your movement until you are balanced. And it's not about a whole lot. You know, sometimes things can be about a whole lot. You want to be doing all these things like very, very quickly and everything has already come to fruition. It's not saying that at all. It's simply saying narrow down. You don't have to do all of these things. Choose a few things that work really well and just build on it, but you got to find balance there. That's what's coming up this week, this feeling of needing to find balance, needing to be balanced within yourself. That's going to lead to the outcome that you truly want more than it is to just be all over the place and throwing everything here and there. Now, please be in mind that we will be starting a Mercury in retrograde towards the end of this week. And today, January 9th, is also a first quarter moon. And so what happens after you have a new moon, the following week you typically, that's how it's not typically, you do, you have a first quarter. The new moon, that's the initiation, the new energy. The first quarter, those are those first obstacles. Because when you have a great idea, and it's in your head, when you start to bring it out into the physical world, what that is you start to hit or bump up against physical realities. Your job is to push past that and get to the other side. And the only way you can do that is to be very balanced in who you are right there. So that's that energy that's coming up right there. We also have the Five of Pentacles. So it's a strategic thinking right here. Strategic thinker. You think smarter, not harder, baby. Okay, I'm going to run that back a couple times, sweetheart. I want you to think smarter and not harder. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna just leave it right there in that energy. Think smarter and not harder. Back in the day, you might have done the most whenever you were interested in something or growing something or going through something. And this could be in any area of your life. It could be love, it could be finances, it could be friendships, it could be family, it could be health. It's really speaking towards probably career, financial things, but just in general, health is wealth too. So just be mindful so that it is appropriate for where you are in your life. Because I notice most of the time people are just, they teeter back and forth. Either it's love or it's money, back and forth with that. But anyway, with this, it's like, do you see her? She said, she's tapping on her head. She's like, think smarter, not harder. You can really have what you want, and it's actually easier to get what you want if you think smarter. What is the simplest way to get to where you're trying to go? Not this complicated, convoluted way that you think things should be. What is the simplest way to get to where it is that you're trying to go in the path that you're trying to do it, okay? And so the next feeling, and this is just this initial feeling for this week coming up. We have the Magician. Oh, baby, ha ha ha, this is my favorite card. And I'm going to explain to you why this is my favorite card. The Magician is like the alchemist. The Magician lets you know that at any time you are a co-creator of your reality. Now, I say this all the time. I say it here. I say it on Reiki Healing Hope. You are a co-creator of your reality. And so what that simply means is that you are in more power than you think. A lot of times people will come to me and they will ask me, well, what does this mean or what does that mean? When in reality is, what do you want it to mean? And do you surrender to the outcome for what it is that you want? Now, let me give you a quick example when it comes to relationships. Does this person like me? Do they not like me? X, Y, and Z. But what do you want? Oh, I want this person to like me. No. Go a little bit deeper. What do you want from someone? Oh, I want this, this, and that. Okay. Can you surrender to the fact that you can have all those things and you have to let go and free and release yourself from the idea that it can only come from this person? Because right now you're looking at this person from the perspective of your limiting mind. But if you expand your mind, the right person might already be in front of you and you can't see because, as my grandma used to say, you're stuck on stupid. And that's not saying that you're stupid, but stuck on stupid was usually the other person. You're stuck on stupid. You think stupid is cute. So that's all that is. Basically, it's giving you permission to say, hey, whatever you want to build, you can do it. And that's what's happening this week. Let me tell you, to be successful in anything that you want to do, to accomplish a goal, to get to your next level in anything that you want to do, what you have to do is you have to push past the majority of others who don't, or when it's something like, for example, love is something, it's not like you're trying to outcompete people. It's you're trying to sift through, give you some hand movements, sift through all of the people to find the people that are actually best for you, or the person that's actually best for you. When it comes to like work and career and stuff like that, if you're on your hustle right now, it's more about you have to outwork. You have to get to a point where you push past where other people give up. Now, outworking doesn't mean poor self-care. It doesn't mean overworking yourself. It just means when you get nervous or scared, you keep on working towards your goals. Simple message there. So that's the beginning energy that's coming up. So we have the 8th of Cups. So this is you're letting go. You're releasing some baggage. You're releasing some emotional baggage here, and you're refusing to play into the things that you used to play into at that time. So it's really hey, I think I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to let it go. And the only way that you're going to be successful here with this 4 of Pentacles that we were just talking about is if you let go. And it's some big stuff. It can't always be the world is just happening to me. It's also, hey, I play into what I thought that, or who I thought I was in this world, but now I choose something different and I let go. And a lot of people get stuck, they get stuck on their hurt from a relationship, or they get stuck on their failed pursuit when it comes to this, or I hit so many roads in the past. Now, if you're going to stay stuck there, that's all you can grow. But if you're ready to move on, you can't talk about that stuff anymore. All you can talk about is the things that are working working for you and working towards you. Okay. I do want to give a gentle reminder that there is, ooh, this is a good one, but y'all doing the Pentacles today. Okay, universe, I feel that. I'm with that energy. I do want to give a gentle reminder that there is a live session that's going to be happening tomorrow where you can ask questions, and that's where the questions can be asked. So live sessions happen on Monday, babies. So come on back. So we have this 10 of Pentacles. So the energy that's coming up this week really just is all about money. It's all about your feeling of safety and security, but the security that is created by financial stability. So, you know, your ability to have somewhere to live, to be able to do what you want to do freely. That's what's coming up here. So the things that you're working on this week, it's going to secure these things for you. So be mindful. Don't just, push it off or not want to think about it, especially January 14th, when Mercury goes into retrograde. The communication is going to be crazy, crazy wild. So that's not a time for you to initiate like a contract or something like that. But it is time to review things in the past, things that maybe you have been putting off, because it will resurface. It'll say it needs to be looked at. It is a time for you to examine if your social networks are working for you. That's that Mercury and Aquarius energy. The Mercury surrounding all of this Capricorn energy and how it's interacting with that as well teaches us to have balance, teaches us to have a strong foundation. So when you bring these two together, the Aquarian and the Capricorn energy, what you end up doing is you're saying, does the system that I have, does the life I have, does it support me? And does my network of people support me as well into my dream life, into what I want? If it doesn't, then you might want to reconsider if this is the right path. Now, this is a circle back, because we know that last year we also had Mercury and Aquarius around this time. So anything that you did last year, as you circle back around to this year, if you did what you needed to do, you will look back and be like, wow, I can't believe I did that. If you didn't do it, now this is the time where you do have to circle the block and complete that, just for karmic balance there. Now, I'm going to pause on the rest of them, and I'm just going to look at talk about a little bit more the upcoming moon cycle. So as I was talking about earlier, today we have a first quarter moon, and it's the first quarter in Aries. Depending on when you're watching this is Sunday. So that means the energy that you propelled last week of this new thing, the newness, the fresh, and especially with the new moon starting near the beginning of the year, it is this fresh, strong energy. But this is the first quarter is what I like to say, or what I like to call the first wave of dropouts. There are going to be people who wanted to start something at the beginning of the year, and they're like, I'm not going to do it. So that's the first wave. You have to decide if you're going to be a part of that first wave or not. Now, there's some things that you need to let go, because we were just talking about that here. So maybe you had 16 initiatives, okay, and now you got to drop them down and consolidate to the ones that matter the most, because that's what's going to be successful. Because now that you're hitting this first quarter and you're actually at a point where you realize you got to put some work into it. You don't have the time to do all of those things, or you don't have the time to focus on all of those different areas. So consolidate, and that will be best for your overall security in general. And so this energy will just continue to move forward. Now, this is a very important week, because next Monday we will have a full moon, and we know that full moon is celebration. Full moon is you're putting that work that you started those couple of weeks before, and you get to see, you get to test out, you get to view that if you put in all the effort, you're going to start to reap some of the benefits. Now, be mindful, as I said before, because that Mercury is going into retrogrades. So it's not going to, especially if things are around communication, it will be more self-satisfying. That's what it'll look like. with this full moon. So that's going to be January 17th. We're going to talk about that more next week. But that January 17th, that full moon, which is celebration of the things that you've been working on, it will be a sense of internal peace. Because if Mercury wasn't in retrograde, it would be external accolades and things like that. But just focus on the internal aspect of that. But you're doing the work. So do not give up this week. Do not let go of the things that are important to you. Do not release yourself from that which you feel like you are going in the correct and the right direction. Do not keep on going, and you got this, okay? So we have the Queen of Swords, and you have to be very mindful here at how you want to approach her, okay? The Queen of Swords is very strategic mentally. She's saying that in order to be successful, this is the energy that's coming up this week, because this is really a you got to get this stuff done type week. In order to be successful here, you have to approach things in a strategic way that is healthy and balanced. Does that make sense? I'm going to show you her again. Healthy and balanced. Healthy and balanced means that when you're working on your craft, when you're doing anything that is worthwhile, you're doing it in a sustainable way. Now, that's what I was talking about, where it's like, don't get this message confused and think that you need to work yourself until there's nothing else to work. No, this message is saying, as we said, you got to work smarter, not harder. So you have to combine your self-care, your self-wellness, the things that make you happy. You know, everything you're doing here should make you happy, should be fun to do. Now, you might feel like, man, I don't feel like doing this today. That I think is completely okay and reasonable, but you should like what you're doing. If you're forcing yourself to go down a path that is not for you, but you feel like, oh, I should do this because da-da-da-da-da, but it doesn't really make you happy, it will never come to be in the way that you would hope it to be, and the way that it would be if it was something that you love, to be completely honest with you. So like, really, don't even waste your time here. Don't even feel bad about it. Just, let it be. And then we also have the Knight of Cups. Okay, so in order for you to make this shift, the vibe that comes across is really like, I don't care. I don't give a, like, I don't care. I don't care at all. Sometimes you got to just be like, who cares? Somebody told me the other day, they were like, a great teacher, she had said to me, she was like, sometimes you got to be like, F it, like you just have to say it like that. Like, F it, like, who cares? You cannot live your life to appease other people. You cannot live your life up to the expectations of other people. And as you are developing this new approach into your life and the things that are important to you, you kind of have to do this kind of mentality shift, or this mentality change that may say like, F it, who cares, Like, sometimes you got to make mistakes, or not even make mistakes, just test things out that you hadn't tested before. And then you also have the Queen of Pentacles. She's saying, hey, your mentality and your approach matters. Be mindful about your money. Now, when I say that, I mean, when you spend your money, invest in yourself. There's nothing wrong with investing in yourself. But she's saying you got to understand, you don't just throw every dollar into to every whim that you feel about something, okay? But when you do see something that you feel like will bring you more into the space, will give you more energy, will bring life into who you are, then pay attention to it. Instead of surrendering to the idea that, like instead of, I don't want to use the word surrendering, I'm going to use the word like this. Instead of deciding not to take responsibility for your path, not to be thinking on an awareness, a consciousness, and just thinking like, well, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, like half-ass it. That's what it really is. Like, don't do that. If you see something that is for you, let it be for you. Okay, universe. Is there anything else that we should pay attention to during this time? If you all have, those who are watching, if you all have any questions about this upcoming week, because that's the benefit of live, please put that in the chat so that we can address that here. Please just narrow your questions to this upcoming week and the things we have been talking about for this moon cycle. Any just energy, universe, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I am so glad, love, that it resonates with you. We have the Queen of Swords. You're not to be played with this week, okay? You are not to be, like, when the things I'm saying to you, you are taking it to heart and you're taking it serious. And you're saying, well, you know what? I'm not going to not do this. I'm not going to not do this. Okay, it says, I'm an Aquarius sun. Any info on the Mercury retrograde for me? Okay. So I'm going to pull this right here, which is the 3 of Cups. Make sure you're mindful. So the message still on this week is to make sure you are mindful of who you surround yourself with, okay? Who is in your energy, because as you are motivated and you're going forward into whatever pursuits that you are going to be pursuing, you need to surround yourself only by those who balance your energy, okay? In order to maintain this 4 of Pentacles, you have to surround yourself by that. So that might be limiting contact or just, being a little bit more mindful of who's into your space. And though it may look like you're in kind of like a tough situation, or all over the place or something like that, you're not. You're in more control than what it looks like or what you think it might look like in that. And ultimately, this is a time period, especially with Mercury and retrograde, where you're going to get a lot of your validation by night, through your dreams, through your meditations, through your channeling sessions, through the whispers of the universe, through your intuition, through your internal sense of understanding. And if you continue to do this work, once it goes out of that retrograde, you'll start to see it on a physical level. So I'm going to address that first question with, if you're an Aquarius sun, how does the Mercury retrograde affect you if it's going to be Mercury retrograde in Aquarius? Now, separate your signs, okay? It doesn't matter what sign you are. Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius. So Mercury in Aquarius just describes a feeling or a personality of Mercury. When it's retrograde, it goes in on itself. It's not external. It's more of an internal, underneath the veil. So if you are in Aquarius, what the Aquarius energy represents is its social networks. It doesn't represent the hierarchy. It represents the network of expanding. And so Mercury in retrograde in Aquarius brings the message of your communication with your social networks. And with it being in retrograde, it questions, do these networks support you? It can be in your physical life, it can be online, it can be in any kind of way. So for you, take what is natural to you, Aquarian sun, take what is natural to you and apply it to the communication, because if your Mercury is in another sign, then it really doesn't matter if your sun is Aquarius or not. If your Mercury is in Leo, you might communicate in a different way. So that's why it's important to do or to know, the planetary positions of your chart and things like that. But ultimately, just use those messages of the Aquarian energy and apply it to your communication on an internal level. So it's your ability to reflect and to see into that. And then what else? Because this Mercury retrograde is coming up on January 14th. Okay. I'm a Leo. How does Mercury retrograde affect my love coming into my life? Here's the thing. We're only talking about this week, but I will say this. It doesn't matter what your sun sign is. In fact, I think that we should move away from just our sun sign, but I understand why you're saying that, because a lot of people don't know their natal chart. So all you got to do is just Google free natal chart, okay? And then put your information in. If you know your time of birth, that's really wonderful. You might notice, okay? And this is both to and I love that the Aquarius and the Leo said something, because y'all are astrological opposites. So y'all are asking from different spectrums. So what you want to do is you want to see your chart or just see what the planets are, because your sun might be Aquarius, but you might have a bunch of planets in Pisces and you move like a Pisces, or a bunch of planets in Gemini and you move like a Gemini. I think it's actually more interesting to see what your Mercury is. That would actually give you a little bit more direction than what your sun is. But just to keep it very, very simple, for the Leo, your natural energy of who you are when it comes to just being who you are is to present your light out. Whereas the astrological opposite, which is Aquarius, is to see that light in others and to promote that. So when Mercury goes into retrograde, which is communication. Now, I just said we're not thinking about what your Mercury is in, which I think would probably be a more accurate way to look at this. But we're just pushing that to the side. We're going to forget about that right now. Allowing that Mercury, to be retrograde in Aquarius, it's simply saying, how does and this to Leo, how does your networks of people, how does it support you in bringing light out? That's not an external thing. That's an internal reflection. So that's all you have to do there. I'm a Capricorn, Mercury, and an Aries rising. Okay, so this is to, I believe, the Aquarius. So if you're a Capricorn, Mercury, and it's going into Aquarius, Capricorn and Aquarius were traditionally, not modern day, but traditionally ruled by Saturn. And Saturn ruled Capricorn and it ruled Aquarius. Now we know that Uranus rules Aquarius. So it is a comfortable position for you if your Mercury is in Capricorn and then your Mercury is going into Aquarius. So what this is giving you an opportunity to do is understand that those hierarchies, those systems of safeties, those places that you feel like when it comes to communication and how you communicate, are the structures of everything you do on how you present. Make sure that those social networks that support it, make sure that they're solid. That's how you want to do that. That's how you want to make sure that it's probably going to show up in your life like that. Okay. So I'm just going to do this. The world now. Here's the thing, y'all. Like I said it before, you are a co-creator of your experience. Whatever it's going to be, it can be for you. Okay. I don't want you to think, I want there to be a reshift. I don't want you to think that life is just happening to you. I want you to know that you can move your experiences in the direction. It takes work. Don't confuse work with negative or challenge. It takes work, but you can have whatever you want to if you push it in the direction that is best for you. And here we go. I see my birthday is on the 13th this week. Happy birthday week before the full moon. And I'm a Capricorn. I had a reading similar this week to the one you just did earlier. I think I got the universe's message in time. Yes, baby. I appreciate that. Okay. Okay. Yes. And then we have the Page of Swords. The way that I just see this week, not to get way too deep and narrow down in this week, but I just see this week for you as a time of reforming your mentality towards a lot of things, which ultimately leads to that Four of Pentacles, whatever you want to blossom, to grow. Now, I said this in the beginning, and for anybody who's new, I'm simply saying that it can be in any area of life that's important to you. Maybe you want a family, maybe you want your career to take off. You want a hobby to take off. Maybe you're focusing on your health. Maybe you have some creative pursuits that you want to build. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just if you want to get in that kind of movement, in that shift that is best for you, you have to be able to make these changes within. And in order to make these changes that I just was talking about this whole time, you have to, magician in the world, you have to change your mentality and understand life isn't just happening to you and you're responding. Instead, you are making decisions of this is how I want my life to go and I'm going to work towards it. Does that make sense? Is that good? I don't wanna spring too much on you. Well, I am going to, let me see if anything else is coming up. Okay, be mindful. So the first quarter, which is today, first quarter moon, is in Aries. So that's actually, I think it's an okay placement. And the reason why is because when challenge happens, which the first quarter typically represents, it's like, obstacles. You start to see the obstacles. It being in Aries, I think that's not a bad placement because Aries energy naturally is like, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to do like, if it sees a wall, it's like, okay, I'm going to pivot this way. So I don't feel that there's just kind of this like, oh gosh, what am I going to do right now? It's kind of like, okay, well, I'm just going to do it. You're not even thinking about it. You're just like, do. Like you see like a roadblock and you're just like, man, whatever, I got to figure out how to get to the other side. And you're not really thinking about it, which is completely fine. That helps you not spend a lot of time ruminating over the things that don't work. As you move towards the week, Tuesday going into Wednesday, then that moon goes into Taurus. And so that's going to be a little bit of a shift. Now, remember, I just said it's building up into that Mercury in retrograde. So that moon going into Taurus, this is going to be January 11th to January 12th. What that energy is going to feel like is you're going to start to really notice the things that aren't the way that you want them to be. And it might be a little bit like irritating, whereas the Aries energy is just like, you're like, whatever, you're not thinking about it. The Taurus energy, it kind of gives more of like a, And the reason why you're having that sense of discomfort is because you need to remove or get through whatever that is. And then towards the end of the week, it's going to move into that Gemini energy, which is you're going to actually have some really good ideas of how to break through. Now, right when it goes into Gemini, we're talking about the moon, January 13th through January 15th. Right when it goes into Gemini, that is also when Mercury goes into retrograde. Now, special thing about this, Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So the moon being in Gemini and Mercury having movement here, it's kind of a more relaxed thing. It's going to go hand in hand. What that means is, let me just explain it to you, is whatever comes up initially, as soon as Mercury goes into retrograde, the moon has positioned itself in such a good way that you're going to already start to generate ideas of how to overcome it. Now, Gemini is sparking two different ideas you never thought and bringing them together. It doesn't mean that they're going to work, doesn't mean they're not going to work. But sometimes it makes you feel better when you're like, you have an idea of like, wait, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. Because as we will talk about next week in the full moon and things like that, we're going to kind of expand more about these ideas and what has happened. But as of now, that's pretty much this week. I don't want to like throw way too much on you. How does the moon going into Taurus affect the Taurus sun? I just want all of you all to separate your sun signs from looking at the moon. But if I was to explain it in like an astrological, in astrological terms, it would be the moon's relationship in Taurus to a person's Taurus sun. That's called an aspect. So it would mean that the way that the moon is expressing itself is along the same type of personality that the person's sun has. So that could be, the sun sign of any sign. But what I want you to think of is I want you to expand past that. I want you to think about it from the perspective of, if I'm a Taurus, I know all of these things about Taurus energy. So that means I know the moon in a very detailed way. So when the moon comes up and it expresses itself in Taurus, I know what to do. I know how to move through this because I've been moving through this way my entire life. Okay. I enjoyed the week so much that's going to be coming up. Again, if you like this live session, please stop by tomorrow because I'm going to be doing live readings and you can ask any questions. This is just the moon cycle reading. I had a great time, y'all. Well, enjoy yourself. You can catch me here weekly and you can catch me on Reiki Healing Hope nightly. I will see you next week. Okay, bye. Peace. See you later.